Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to what should be an interesting race here at Las Vegas. We're gambling for sure. That is an understatement. Qualifying is underway, and when I say we're gambling, that of course means who we have in the booth alongside me here tonight. Of course, in the booth is myself, Charles Wooten, producer and announcer tonight, along with my boss and his lackey, Sean Reitzman and Jeff Stabnow. Where's that order? Jeff is the boss. I think Sean's his lackey. Either way, I think I'm his lackey too. But regardless of that, we're here in the booth for this 134 lap race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Jeff, Sean, well, you've both found your way to victory lane in the Cup and Truck Series. This, obviously, the ARCA Series. It's the development one. We're going to be talking to a driver about that, but give us your takes on this series.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out if I'm offended or Sean's offended or we're both offended here. I don't know that either of you. Sean's definitely not my lackey. I think I'm his. But, you know, Las Vegas for me is one of my favorite tracks. It seems to have a lot of grip. I like the way that there's progressive banking in the corner. It seems to me like you start maybe running a little bit lower on fresh tires and you kind of work your way up to the wall, and that higher banking later in the run kind of allows you to get some runs off the higher lines a little bit later in the corner. Not always easy to get them going. You lose a lot of time in that center of the corner, but if you can kind of stick that throttle just right, you can get a heck of a run down the straightaways, running the high line later in the laps when everybody's got a lot more off throttle time. You know, as far as the car, you know, I noticed that they've got a big, huge air pressure split on this. This is a fixed set from iRacing. And those tend to be real loose early in a run until the pressures build up. So, and then what I'm hearing from these guys is after the 5 to 7 laps, the first 5 to 7 laps, these cars are super loose. Then they start coming to you. And then, after that, they got to start protecting the right. So there's going to be a lot of mid-race adjustments and driving styles here, man. It's going to be a tough race tonight.
Yeah, Jeff, you're absolutely correct. And here at Vegas in the ARCA series, this is the development series for the Northwest Racing Series. So we're going to see a lot of normal names that you see on Monday and Wednesday nights in the Cup Series and the Truck Series. But you're also going to see some others, some up-and-coming talents here that have shown some strong runs, and we're looking forward to calling this race.
Yeah, and the more I sit here and listen to you do talk, the only thing I can think of here for tonight's race is, I guess I would be like I don't know who's the older guy. I don't know his name. Sorry, no offense to him. He's the older, balder guy that does the announcing for NASCAR. And I guess you'd be like Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer coming up here to do the race. Maybe Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer, because you're not retired like Jeff Gordon. But either way, it's going to be a fun race. I know, Jeff, you said we're going to be talking to Rob Gamble whenever you want to grab him. That would be good. We'll talk to him and, just get his thoughts about this series as well, as they are pretty much done qualifying, so we can grab him. Jeff's on his way to do so. But Sean, while he grabs him, you obviously the winningest driver here in this series, just passing Mark Walls here recently. What is the big key to this track? As obviously there's some big ruts in 1 and 2.
Yeah, absolutely correct there. There are some big bumps. If you enter kind of middle of the track, you will definitely struggle to keep that car down on the low side. So it's going to be about staying, being consistent, 1, 2, staying out of trouble. Vegas brings up trouble a lot for people. It'll plug up the back stretch, and then most cars seem to get pretty tight out of turn 4. So there's a lot of calamity that can happen and change the outcome of the race real quick. So really it's about staying clean and consistent.
Well, there you have it. And Jeff is back. It's a long trip. He made that very quick down to the pits. But Jeff, you do have Rob, so we'll let you introduce him as he's going to give us a little bit about this series.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Rob Gamble here with us tonight. You guys probably recognize him from the truck series and the car series, and most recently, he had a really good race in the truck series on that road course. He's one of those road course aces too. But Rob is also one of the guys that's kind of running this ARCA series here for us this year, and since this is the first broadcast race of the season for these guys. Thought we'd bring you up, Rob, and just give you kind of a chance to introduce yourself a little bit and tell us a little bit about the ARCA series.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. My name's Rob Gamble. I started with the Northwest Racing Series last year, and in fact, it was after watching the broadcast on LSRTV, and I finally got up the nerve to ask Jeff if I could join, and it's been a great experience. The league is very popular. It's very well run. There's a lot of you get a lot of help when you're a new member of this league. And so, in talking with some other folks like James Vining, Tom Green, and a few others, and I know it's been approached before that, maybe a development series would work. I know it's definitely helping me, and just a chance to give some of the other guys that maybe aren't up front, fighting with Jeff and Sean and the West family and some of the others, a chance to get some good experience, get some time up front, maybe win a few races, and see how it develops. And so it's also a chance to get new members of the league that probably don't have, a ton of experience racing, get them used to the rules that we use here, get them used to the flow of everything, and then give them a chance to move up to the other series, as they develop.
All right, so one more quick question from me, and then I'm going to send you Sean's way. What would you say should be the goals of the drivers then, in this series here? You said it was a development league. Is this like a confidence building league, or are you guys doing working with guys on skills? What are you doing, and how are you developing drivers in this series?
Yeah, I think it's all those things. It's development for some of the new guys. We have, practice sessions, and we do share a lot of information. We're available during those practice sessions, and we've had some of the top drivers from the other series come down and go to practice with us, show us the lines, show people, what they're doing, how they're, driving the car to be more successful. And, it's also a chance for some of the more experienced guys, but like I said, don't, run up front all the time, to get some more action too, because, we all do this for fun. We all love racing. So it's just another chance to get out here and just enjoy racing with the same folks week after week, and get to know everybody. And yeah, I think that sums it up.
Well, since Jeff threw it over to me next to ask you a couple questions here, Rob, my first question actually brings up what you kind of talked about. You had a top tier guy last week, I think, Justin Yee, or the week before, come in and show how he runs the ARCA car, since he finished like top 4 in the official iRacing point standings out of that. What did he help you with? What did you guys see, and how that progressed for not just you, if you took anything from it, but any of the other drivers that you work with?
Oh yeah, no, he had some really good ideas when he came in. Just showed us some things that he did with the brake bias, showed us some things he did with the line of how he ran it, and it really helped me that, the night of the race. And in practice before the race to incorporate those things that he did, and it gave me an improvement in my lap times and my handling. So, yeah, that was really appreciated. And then, just like the shout out to Jeff too, is Jeff Stabenow is one of the most giving folks that I know, because he gives his time every Saturday night. We have a setup session for the trucks, and he is there until the last question is asked. And it's, there's not a lot of leagues that do stuff like that. And it's It just shows that this, more than a league, this is a community. And, I really appreciate that from him, and just from, everybody around here is willing to help each other out. So that really, really shows.
It looks like the hatch on the broadcast booth just opened. Jeff's floating away with how big his head just got. So, no, that's you're not wrong there, Rob. He is an excellent admin and administrator to our series. He does a lot for the series and building drivers and talent. So, not wrong there. Last question I have for you. Looks like you qualified about 9th place. Is that indicative to where you think you're going to be running? Or are you going to be moving that 54 up the field?
I'm going to try and move that 54 up the field. I know tires here are a big thing, so I think hopefully we can get some long runs, and I can do a good job of having some long run speed. And then if it comes down to it at the end, then we get a short session or whatever, we'll make some adjustments. But yeah, if we can get some long runs and I can save some tires, then I hope to be there at the end to kind of challenge for a win here.
Well, I have one question. We've got the series out of the way, and everybody knows here at LSRTV, we're serious, but we have just a pinch of laughter in there. I have to know.
No, you're kidding me.
I want to know, do you have R2-D2 trapped in a closet somewhere?
That's my good luck charm. It's funny. It's my text tone, and for some reason, it just goes off at the most, probably the most opportune times, I'm going to say, because it happened at a race I was in last night. I keyed the mic to say something, and then it went off, and then everybody just cracks up on there. So, yeah, it's, the Chewbacca one didn't go off, the TIE Fighter one didn't go off, but R2-D2 did. So he's always right there by my side.
There you go. Definitely a good one. And Jeff, we'll let you finish it off since you brought him up here.
Hey, we're going to put you back down there with the team, but one last chance here before we put you down. Why don't you give us give a shout out to your sponsors, teammates, whoever it is that helps you get that 54 running as good as you do.
Teammates, James Vining, Judd Wakefield, Stephen Paulison, Frank Harris, we have a good time and we share a lot. And just a shout out to LSRTV for what you guys do. Jeff and Sean, you guys do a great job, and this league is so much fun, and it shows because it's so popular. And I want to say hi to my mom, who's watching on YouTube, and she's watching my stream here too. So hello, Mom.
All right, Rob. Thanks much for taking the time to help us out here, and best of luck to you tonight, buddy.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks, Sean. Have a good broadcast, guys.
All right. Well, that was Rob Gamble. We got about just under 3 minutes left here in qualifying, and I note here, even though this is a development series, it's reminiscent of just like the Cup and Truck series, Jeff and Sean. We have our 18 drivers that have qualified, but there's still a handful of drivers that have not qualified, just like in the Cup and Truck series. Some of these drivers preferring to start at the back of the field and get that experience of passing through. We ask this all the time. Do you want to do that? Do you want that experience, or do you run a high risk of getting involved in somebody's mistake back in the back of the field?
Well, go ahead, Sean.
I was just going to say that I feel like it kind of depends on what drivers you're looking at. So I know in the recent series before the broadcast tonight here, we've had some trouble in the back starting the races. So I'd be more leaning towards getting a qualifying lap and trying to start as close to the front as I can.
Me personally, I agree with Sean. I like to start up front. I think there's too many opportunities for bad things to happen in the back of the pack. I think it's to each their own. Depends on what they want to get. I've seen guys that start in the back week after week, and they do just fine. They just like to take their time, come to the field, and and work on their racecraft a little bit, and this is a development series, so some guys may want to. Other guys, they want to get up front and have less chance of getting caught up in an accident. So I'm in that latter boat. But, in regards to the development series, we do call it a development series. But I do want to say that this is a pretty high-level development series. We've got some pretty good drivers in the car and the truck. Sure, we got guys in here with 6,500 I ratings tonight. So there's a lot of guys, between the 2,000 and 3,000 range on I rating in here. So we've got some pretty high above average I ratings in here in this so-called development series. So, even though we call it a development series, the level is still high here.
Yeah, it definitely is very high. And speaking of high, one thing that's not high, you guys, that is the time on the clock, just 30 seconds away. And we'll be going into the actual race here. 134 laps. Should be a good race for sure. That's the typical lap we run for the Cup and Truck. We're obviously going to run it here for the ARCA series as well. That being said, time is running out. Final thoughts before we go into the grid. Jeff, Sean, who are your picks for tonight's win?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I think my pick tonight's going to be Corey Walters. If it wasn't him, I'd probably go with Dennis Moore. But I think Corey Walters is pretty good on this track. And my pick to get up to the front tonight.
That's a really solid pick there, Jeff. I'm gonna lean a little bit to Stephen Paulson tonight. He's shown a lot of speed, very consistent. Actually was in the chase, and I think both the Cup and the Truck. So we'll see what he does on the long run.
All right, well, I will go ahead and do what Wesley Allen's favorite thing to do, and that is this right here, and that's to get a little bit of grid music going for your starting grid here. Tonight, row 1 is going to be the 00 of Kevin Smith. On his outside is going to be the 11 of Frank Harris, both very well-known drivers here in the series. Row 2 is going to be Joshua Hart, and the 44 of Dennis Moore. In row 3 is going to be the 35 of Joshua Marcy and the 58 of Stephen Paulson, who's been on a hot streak here in the last little bit. In row 4 is going to be Toby Ritters in the 23 machine, and everybody knows him as the Catman, the 333 of James Vining. In row 5 is going to be the 54 of Rob Gambill, we just talked to just a bit ago. Alongside him is going to be the 41 of Stephen O'Hare. In row 6 is going to be the 25 of Ryan Blum and the 67 of Troy Daggett. Row 7 going to be one of the favorite photos we've gotten so far. We need to update that, of course, in a little bit. Is the 71 of Aaron Cooper and the 50 of Judd Wakefield. Row 8 going to be the 78 of Dan Stuzy and the 07 of Dana Rogers. Row 9 is going to be our very own Greg Rentz in the number 1 machine. We'll see if he finishes near the front here in 1. And the 69 of George Watson. Row 10 going to be Ricky Moser in the 42 and the 9 of Corey Walters. Row 11 going to be Ray Fournier in the 26 and Scott Hutchinson in the 91. Row 12, Jimbo, we're just calling him Jimbo until we figure that last name out in row number 12, and Bryce Beatty in the 70. And that'll do it for your starting grid. Definitely going to be a good race here as we're just about ready to drop that green flag, Jeff.
Yeah, that's Jimbo Pfeiffer, by the way. And the first thing I notice is our pole sitter there did not take the green flag. So Kevin Smith is either opting to start from the pits, or he just took it from the qualify pole to the hauler. Not sure which one it was.
Yeah, very interesting to not take the pole, but of course, it is what I like to think is everybody's favorite time of the race, and that is, of course, where we crank these cars up and kick a little asphalt's coming up here in just a few moments as they get ready to take the green flag, and there it is. Green flag is just a few moments away, and we will crank these things up. Green flag's out. Let's kick a little asphalt here, Las Vegas style. right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we just love the crank it up here, or what we like to refer to as kick a little asphalt, and already these cars are underway, and you can see on the side of your screen your 21 drivers that are on track here at the moment. Marcy out front, that is Joshua Marcy in the 35, followed by Joshua Hart, so we got a good battle of the Joshuas up front. Sean here, Dennis Moore right behind them, and Stephen Paulson. A lot of these guys, both of you, have raced against.
Yeah, definitely raced against him. Joshua Marcy's is fast, aggressive driver. He's obviously moved his way towards the front, and looking forward to seeing what he can actually do here on this first initial run here.
Yeah, he's right there. You know, Jeff, you race the Cup and Truck, and obviously, you know, this is not, I believe it's ineligible for you to run in, but if you had the chance to run the ARCAs, would you run them? They just look like a fun car out here as we're watching this battle for the lead that is underway.
Yeah, so while I'm ineligible, Sean and I are both ineligible to run the full series here, we do get a couple drop-down races that we can actually jump in and run with these guys this year, and I absolutely plan to take advantage of that. Love these cars, you know, on these tracks here. They're old 2009 NASCAR Cup cars, man, and they're just a handful. They're so fun to drive.
Yeah, they are definitely a handful. You know, we'll talk to Greg Gruntz, who is obviously typically in the booth with us right now. He is running in 21st place in that pink LSRTV car. I really think he was just trying to win points with BJ Duvall, one of our painters and you know, cameraman over here from Outlaw Cams, but we'll talk to him throughout this race and get his thoughts. But already these guys getting a little spread out, but you go back here, you're looking about 10th place. Dana Rogers, Aaron Cooper, James Vining. You know, these guys are putting on good little battles towards midfield and even the back of the field, while the front has somewhat spread out except for that battle for the lead, which we're keeping an eye on as well.
Yeah, they're putting on a heck of a battle right now with it looks like Ray Fournier and I think Ricky Bozier there I saw on the 42. They were looking to go 3 wide there into turn 1, and we saw Frank Harris, who I think is just a little bit behind him. He got loose out of turn 4 on lap 1, so he kind of fell back and is now trying to move his way back towards the front.
Yeah, and it looks like George Watson, I believe it was, smacked that outside wall pretty hard and pancaked it. You know, and I'm looking here, I see Subway, I see Mellow Yellow. Personally, one thing I love about it is, whoa, never mind, George Watson gonna just nail the wall again. And what I was saying was I like the throwback themes you get with this series, although that one's gonna need some major repair now after that, as you can see the damage quite a bit, especially to the right side of the car, and he's going to bring it down pit road. That is obviously a little earlier than you wanted as we go back to the front. You know, we talked about the keys to winning this race. You've got to keep the car clean, obviously going to be one of them, and those bumps in 1 and 2. And you know, Jeff, you were talking to Greg, you know, just kind of giving him a little bit of a pointer line how to get around this track to be a little bit faster. So for the ones out there watching, what is a good lap around this? Where do you want to be in 1 and 2? Where do you want to be in 3 and 4 for those that have never been to Las Vegas before?
Oh, and that kind of depends on how your car is treating you. So, and one of the things we were talking to Greg there a little bit about is they put it, like we mentioned in the pre-race, they put a big tire pressure split on these cars, so they're extremely loose the first 5 to 7 laps. So you've got to be real careful how you transfer the weight. You can't just jump out of the throttle or get hard into it. You've got to just put that egg under that throttle, and really you're just driving it to keep enough weight on the rear tires, keep them from spinning, and keep enough on the front tires to make it turn. And so at that point, those first few laps, it's kind of wherever you're comfortable with that car. There's bumps down low, so I think entering a little bit higher is maybe a little bit safer. If you can stick it on that white line those first couple laps, you're going to turn a faster lap. As the tires wear and things go on a little bit, you get a little bit more banking up there in the high line. And, you know, I think you might even be able to save some tire up there. You'd have to play around. It is a little bit slower. But once everybody's off throttle a little bit more on the lower line, then you can start playing around with some of these higher lines. and seeing if there's more speed up there. You know, if you can make up the time lost in the corner by the run you get down the straightaway. So that's one of the fun things about Las Vegas. There's multiple lines in 3 and 4. Usually I like to try to stay down low, but as the run goes on, if the car gets loose, I'll move up, and that seems to tighten up the car. So it's kind of as low as I can run, you know, and be comfortable in that car, and move up if I need to there in 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 is all about trying to be fast for me.
And, you know, another quick question. We know they have 4 sets of tires, and we know fuel is going to be 60 to 62 laps per tank. So, Sean, you know, we gotta come to you as the race analyst number 1, and Jeff Stam now race analyst number 2. You're the winningest driver. We mentioned that earlier. 60 to 62 laps, 4 sets of tires. Are you going to be coming in for tires, or are you going to be coming in for fuel in this race tonight?
I think it's definitely going to be about tires. You know, it's really going to be where you start to see that fall off, and obviously managing your tire set to, since you're on your first set right now, you only have 3 more, knowing that you have to make a couple stops, and obviously there's always the unpredictedness of a caution flag coming out. So really I think it's going to be about the tires, and who chooses, if we do go green, who chooses to grab those tires first and put down some much faster laps than the guys who are running on 40-lap old tires.
Yeah, and the other question, we'll go back to Jeff for this, is, you know, you've got your preferred line where you've practiced. You know, you practice running this line, your tires wore out a certain way. So say if you're, you know, you're running on the bottom or you're running on the top, one area of this track maybe going to wear out the tires a little bit more than you want, as we see contact between the 07 and the 11 there. You know, if you get stuck on the outside and you're prepared for running on the inside, is that going to wear these tires out more and really throw your whole plan off?
Boy, there's a lot of factors that come into that. Part of it's rubber. You know, where's everybody running at? You know, early in this race here with the rubber build up, we're going to get less tire wear run on rubber. So where did they run during practice? Where's the dark spots of the track? But yeah, up high, you don't have to turn the wheel as much, right? It's a higher radius corner. You turn the wheel less, so naturally you're going to save a little more there. Are you saving more on the rubber, more on the tire? I don't know. I'd have to play with it to know the answer to that.
While we're discussing that, we were watching Joshua Marcy and Joshua Hart battle, but now Dennis Moore is starting to creep into the picture here with that Beaver State Racing number 44 machine. Oh, it was a hard lick there for the 182 of Joshua Hart. That's going to let Moore catch him just a little bit more. Now we have a 3-car battle potentially for the lead, or could that damage possibly hurt Hart? It looks like he's going to get passed by Moore pretty quick. So we talked about it, keeping your car clean. That's a factor with any racing. You definitely do not want to damage that car. And you know, aerodynamics obviously going to be a factor here, but these are being the older cars, Sean. Does that aero affect it as much as, say, the 2021 2020 Cup cars?
Yeah, it'll still affect it. It's probably a little bit less, but really staying behind the 44 here for Mr. Hart is going to probably affect him a little bit more. And it looked like he didn't get the wall too bad, but I think it's going to be enough to slow him down where he's not going to be able to make that charge unless the two guys in front slow down way more than they probably want to. And
Jeff, on the same lines that you being a racer as well, if you are going to get damage to this car here, as we'll zoom in here real quick, say you look at the 40 or the 182 here, the deaning of the wall, like I said, just a slight tap, it wasn't too bad. Would you prefer the back end be torn up a little bit or the front end?
Well, again, that's a tough question, and it depends on the balance of this car. Before I answer that, I just want to point out that Dennis Moore is now by default my pick there, the 44, because Corey Walters didn't start the race. So, but yeah, now I've clarified that. I think it's tough, right? What I don't want to do is kick that rear spoiler up in the air and make it become a giant parachute on a fast track like this, right? However, if I'm loose, kicking that spoiler up in the rail, a little bit of extra downforce might actually help me out. A little dent up on the front fender is probably not going to make much difference. But, a big dent up there is going to make this car not want to steer right. It's not going to run the air right around that car, or possibly pretty easy to maybe not go out on these cars too sometimes and not have them want to turn. So, tough question. Sometimes damage on the rear vent might actually help you out a little bit, but most of the time on a fast track like this, you just want to stay away from it at all costs.
Well, and we while you were talking there, Jeff, we did go to the official picking of winners rule book that we have, and yes, we do have a rule book on that. And while the driver you picked did not start, that does not void out your pick. So your pick is just not with this race. So that we refer to that as the jinx roll. You jinxed him, and he didn't even start the race. So Sean's win possibly could win. And by the way, I didn't pick, but if I was gonna pick, I'm gonna pick Joshua Marcy, because we wrote the rule book, so I can pretty much do what I want on there. But I got some good little battles going on there. But I just saw this one. George Watson got into the wall, and I believe, unfortunately, Greg Rentz got a piece of that as well, but it doesn't look like too much damage on his. But these cars are starting to push up to the top. You talked about it a little bit, Jeff. At some point, are these cars going to get tight and just not want to turn?
Well, so I cheated a little bit, and I went and put some laps on this car at this track, but I didn't put enough on it. I just did it, I wanted to see how loose they were at the start and how fast they started to snug it up. But yeah, I think tight is going to be something you're going to have to fight. I think that's why they put such a big tire split on this when they built that set, which makes it so hard to drive early. But once those tire pressures come up, this car really does start snugging up, and you've totally got to change your driving style. You almost drive a tight car opposite of how you drive a loose car, and that's going to be the challenge for these guys up front, right? They were able to, Dennis Moore and, Josh Marcy, Josh Hart, these guys were all able to kind of sprint out to that big lead. But did they take care of that tire? Are they taking care of that front tire? Is it getting too tight on them? Stephen O'Hare, Stephen O'Hare, he's pretty good at tire management. So, we're going to find out. If he starts running them down, they might be having some tire problems up there.
Yeah, and we always talked about with these cars, if they get tight and slide up, like you said, the tire wear going to change a little bit. What I want to point out here is, and we keep talking about this, it's a development series. These guys are in the development series. They are very high ranking development. They are not, it's not like a rookie series by any means. A lot of these guys run in the Cup and Truck Series as well on Monday and Wednesday nights. But what I want to point out here, that with the title Development Series, we are caution-free. 27 laps into Las Vegas so far, and I'm kind of shocked by it. We have a good car count here. 21 drivers on track right now, and with this car getting loose and pushing up a little bit, to not see a caution yet, I'm very shocked and very surprised.
I am as well. I expected a caution a little earlier. We'll see what happens. Hopefully they can go green. And looking at some of the previous things, so you had mentioned George Watson hit the wall. That was actually Dana Rogers. Greg Rentz narrowly missed him. But if we're looking at the top 10 times, I mean they're all within a tenth of two of each other. Right now as far as lap time goes. So it looks like everybody's kind of falling off evenly, and I think track position is going to be a lot bigger than we expected.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing we haven't talked about is track position, as we're watching from the decklet of the leader of the 35 of Joshua Marcy. And Moore is right there. And that's another thing is, your tires are wearing the same, potentially, if you're running about the same line and wearing them the same. So, Jeff, you've dealt with this many, many times, and so has Sean. But, once your tires wear, is there an optimum, maybe lap 5 once your tires are warmed up to, say, a lap 15, where you can get the most passing out, and after that they kind of plateau and it's really hard to pass someone?
honestly, I may not be the fastest guy on the short runs of those first 15 laps, so I'm probably not the guy to ask on this. I do everything I can to save my tires for when everybody else hits that plateau so I can pass them. That's kind of how I approach these races. That's usually why I'm pretty good on long runs. But I tend to struggle a little bit on the shorter runs.
Sean, what are your thoughts? Say about the same?
I do like the long run, but a long run doesn't exist without a short run. So you kind of have to have that balance, because you need to hold on to that track position. If you lose too much, it's just not. And we just had Greg Rentz kind of get loose there in front of the 07. In contact with the leader.
Oh, that is a lot of contact.
Yeah, and a pass for the lead, by the way, too. My driver, 44, up there in the lead. Oh, Greg Rentz going around, huh?
Yeah, Greg Rentz going around doesn't bring out a caution, and we haven't had a caution yet. However, we do like to thank our sponsors, so we'll go back and take a look at the Pulse Poppers Instant Replay. Brand new graphic coming in here tonight. And this see exactly what happened, and went back a little further than that. So we'll take another quick look here, and this is what actually happened. Although it didn't bring out a caution, we'll still take a look at the replay. And you first saw it there, Sean. Was there contact?
I got the last bit of it. I think he actually got up and hit the wall out of 2 and then lost control, and I didn't see who hit him afterwards. So this will, he actually got the apron a little bit right in front of the 07.
Yeah, he definitely got loose, and then he got rented. I think it was Dan Stussy. Not sure on that, the 78 maybe.
That is correct, 78.
Yeah, got into him, turned him, and then, man, what a header into the wall, blew an engine. Unfortunately, he's already going to go to the backup car here, and he's got to do all this on the green. So super unfortunate for Greg.
Yeah,
definitely unfortunate.
It definitely is. We had high hopes for him. He has the number 1 on the car. Don't worry, Greg. You're number 1 in our hearts right now. But unfortunately, not number 1 on the track. But he's giving it his all. He says all the time when we talk to him, he doesn't get to race as much as he wants to, and that's because we keep him busy here at LSRTV. So, we're glad he's in the booth with us when he is. But it looks like he's going to possibly pull it back down pit road. Did he get a penalty as well?
Very well could have, man. It's one of the most distracting things dealing with a tore-up car, trying to do all your pit stuff. Oh man, he is just struggling here. But if I know Greg, he's just trying to get some TV time to show off that fancy paint job that he spent 2 days working on.
He probably is. I'm just gonna do what I gotta do to get some TV time around here, and he's doing that. But definitely. Hopefully we'll see him back, and meanwhile we'll go back to this battle who I was keeping an eye on. Again, what did you say is this? Jimbo, how'd you pronounce that last name, Jeff?
Jimbo Pfeiffer, and so Jimbo Pfeiffer's a longtime staple in a lot of Northwest leagues. He's about as much of a road guy as you get. He's one of the better road racing guys in the Northwest, and usually sticks to that, although he does occasionally run the oval stuff. He joined our league, I think, about a year ago, and said he wanted to brush up on his oval racing a little bit. And to my knowledge, this is the first time he's ever even joined a race with us. So pretty excited to have Jimbo on board with us tonight.
There you go, the 447 of Jimbo Pfeiffer. And that battle kind of fizzled out, but we got the 50 of Judd Wakefield scraping the wall just a little bit. And that's going to allow Aaron Cooper and Ray Fournier to get by him. And guys, I think Greg Rentz's day may be done. Nope, he is back out on the track. As he's rolling back out there after that little bit of a scrape with the wall. And I want to point out our battle for the lead has fizzled out after Moore took it. He pretty much checked out, and he's just about a second ahead. But you still got a battle going on back here for about 5th position between Toby Ritters and Ryan Blum. One of the closest battles on the track. So you got a battle for about 5th, 6th, battle for about 10, 11th or 12th, and also 15th and 16th. So battles throughout this field, definitely proving that these guys are no slouches here in this development series.
Yeah, Dennis Moore, he made that pass there a little while back. I think Josh Marcy and Josh Hart have used their tires up a little bit. Stephen O'Hare's closing fast on those guys, but Dennis Moore doing a fantastic job right now. He's just driving away from the field.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's turning some good lap times. He's about a tenth faster than looks like just about everybody on the track here. So really putting in those good laps. Obviously saved his tires, kind of just bided his time while Marcy and Hart raced pretty hard there at the start.
Yeah, these guys, they're starting to get a little spread out here. We're seeing a few battles going on, but for the most part, they are starting to get spread out. What I think is going to change that, though, is we are roughly 20 laps away from pit stops. So I really think that's going to shake things up. It's going to put people in different positions. You won't see them in the same order. If you're going to come down, pit stops 60 to 62 laps worth of fuel. Are you going to potentially come down a little bit earlier and try to short pit? Although we have Frank Harris on pit road at the moment, I think that's a bit of a short pit if he's going to short pit it. Maybe just a bit too much early, but could you possibly short pit maybe 2 or 3 laps and try to get an advantage?
Oh, I
Absolutely.
think you're going to... Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
Oh, we're good. Absolutely. I mean, really, it's about just trying to make up the time and if really make the other people respond to your pit call there. So knowing that you can go 60 to 62 laps, pitting at lap 40 puts you at 100 with 34 to go. So if you decide to run it out of fuel. So I think it's a good call by Frank, who had that little early trouble there on lap 1. I think getting new tires right now is gonna help, and we'll have to see what kind of lap times he puts after he gets up to speed.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of guys start pitting now. If you divide this race up into you got to pit twice, so you divide it into 3 segments for 2 pits. That brings you right around 45 laps. Lap 44, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the floodgate start opening for the pits, and once the leaders start pitting, everybody else is going to pit too. They don't want to fall further behind.
Yeah, it's a typical case, as we refer to as monkey see, monkey do. You see the leaders come in, you got to come in with them. And this is the closest battle on the track right now, and it's the battle currently for 5th position. Stephen Paulison and Ryan Blum. And, I'm digging that 58. It's just a chromed out looking machine. No sponsors, no nothing. Versus that's number 25 Monster Energy drink, which by the way is a very good drink. These two putting on a good battle, about 2 tenths apart from each other, but 2 tenths is not that much on this track. And Jeff, you talked about draft a little bit. How much draft is he getting off that 58?
Hard to say in the ARCA cars. I don't run those enough to tell you this, but I do know that in the Cup cars or even the trucks, you'll pick up somewhere, 1 to 3 tenths a lap just sitting in somebody's draft. If you look at the timer, they're on a hot lap on fresh tires. So I would imagine he's picking up no less than a tenth in that draft, assuming that his tires are still able to hold that. You still got to turn the corner. The draft will help you a little bit on the straightaway.
And speaking of the draft, if you're picking up that 3 tenths per lap, obviously you're going to go a little bit faster speed-wise. Could this be possibly affect, is it going to be enough, you think, to affect the fuel? Might they have to come down, 2 or 3 laps earlier than they might in that 60 to 62 lap window, as we do have Joshua Marcy coming down pit road?
Yeah, if you're asking me, Charles, I don't think it's going to make a big difference. I think it makes a little bit of a difference. The guy in front's doing more work. He's in the throttle more. But this late in the run, I don't think the effect's that big. I think it's a lot bigger. That draft effect is a lot bigger earlier in the run. What it's really going to do, it's not going to give the guy more off-throttle time or let him run 3/4 throttle like at a super speedway and save gas, but it does allow him to close that gap up a little bit on the straightaway.
Definitely looking forward. So everyone coming in around lap 4, we saw some around 40 to lap 48 to 50 here for some of your leaders. And there's Dennis Moore coming down, Kevin Smith coming down as well. So your leader has come down. He's taking fuel and tires now. As there you see the right side of the car going up, left side will go up next, and they will be off and on their way. I want to talk about a driver who doesn't always start the race. But he is doing good right now. Some of this is because of pit stops, as now we have Toby Ritters coming in. Scott Hutchinson, 13 spots up from where he started.
Yeah, that's a great start for Scott. You're not wrong. He doesn't qualify. He usually just kind of starts in the back and just kind of let things happen. And he's actually the defending Daytona ARCA winner. He won our first race in the ARCA series earlier this I think March.
Good to see him. He's one of those, he doesn't always start. I believe he doesn't always start due to internet, is what I believe I heard one time. But, when he's here, he's definitely got some skill. 15 spots to the good right now as Toby Ritters and Robert Gamble are off pit road. And we have Ricky Bozier coming in the 42, a little beaten and battered, but he'll get that mellow yellow, number 42, down pit road. Stephen O'Hare, your race leader at the moment in the number 41 machine. He's not coming down this time. Neither is Paulison, I do not believe. So, we know they can make it, but like you said, Jeff, monkey see, monkey do. The leaders come in, you come in. Could some of these guys be on a totally different strategy, and they're just not going to come in regardless of what the leaders do?
Yeah, absolutely. The top 9 cars haven't pit yet. They're still out there on the track. They're getting to be about that point. They lose second and a half, 2 seconds. I think about a second and a half here at this track right now, or 2 seconds, somewhere in there, a lap on fresh tires, right? So once the leaders are, have pit and you're stayed out there 4, 5, 6 more laps, you've almost kind of made your bet at this point. Now you're going to ride around hoping to see a caution and maybe get things to shake up that way.
And I just don't see a caution coming out. We very well could see this race go caution free as Jimbo going to come down in that Ford 47 machine. Ray Fournier going to come in as well. Still no signs of your leader coming in at all. For that matter, the top 6 drivers not showing any sign of coming in. And now, if it's me, Sean, I think I need to start thinking about coming in as James Vining does. You're getting passed by the guys that were a lap down or in the back making their way front. That's my sign. I think it's time to get this thing down and get some fuel and tires, and it looks like that's what Aaron Cooper is doing now.
Yeah, you're definitely correct there. It's right now you're losing the time, and you're really not going to gain any of that back. So really just trying to manage it and say, okay, it's time to go in. Doesn't look like caution's going to come out, so let me go ahead and grab those fresh tires and start making my way back up through the field.
And that's what they'll be doing here soon. So as of right now, your top 4, Stephen O'Hare, Ryan Blum, Stephen Paulison, and Scott Hutchinson have not pitted. We talk about this all the time, whether it's me and Wesley, me and Greg, is somebody going around. That is the 447, I do believe. That was going for a little bit of a spin. No caution comes out, though, for it as he goes into the grass. But what I was asking there is, do you use maybe this first stint of the race, per se, to try to stay out on these older tires, see how long you can stay out, and hold off the field for a run later on if you need it?
Yeah, it's one of those things that you can do. I would say I'm one of the ones that likes to try to run out of fuel runs. So I'd probably be more like Stephen O'Hare, Ryan, or Paulson, and kind of running it out as far as I can, hoping for that caution to trap some people a lap down, especially some of the leaders.
And definitely a good strategy indeed. And still no signs. We're watching that leader. We're watching the top 3 and still not coming in. Ryan Blum right behind him. Stephen Paulison not showing signs. And Hutchinson in the 91 machine. Those guys still no signs of coming down. Joshua Marcy going to be the first guy that has pitted on lap 46 is when he came down. So he has got significantly fresher tires, and he is currently trying to run down Hutchinson and Paulson, but just hasn't quite caught them yet. Jeff, you've taken tires before. Running somebody down on fresher tires when you have lap cars in the way, could be a strategy to stay out on those if you're going to have to use these tires up passing other cars to get to the leaders. Could that be a winning strategy here tonight for someone like Stephen O'Hare or Blum or Paulson or Hutchinson?
I'll tell you what, if the caution comes out right now and traps all these drivers a lap down, it's absolutely a winning strategy. Right now, if you're a lap down and you're trying to get through these cars to get to the front and unlap yourself, every lap that goes by, you're nervous, man. You're feeling it in your gut. Come on, please don't caution. When we saw Jimbo Pfeiffer throw up the smoke cloud there, sliding into the pits there a second ago, I'm sure that a lot of these guys. Dennis Moore, Josh Marcy, Kevin Smith, these guys, well, I should say Kevin Smith, Rob Gamble, some of these guys that haven't gotten on the lead lap yet were just all kinds of nervous.
Yeah, definitely a nervous one. I know both of you've been in that scenario where you've pitted, the leader hasn't pitted, and you're hoping, caution doesn't come out. Somebody's hoping that caution does come out. The best way to describe it is the old saying that I know every grandmother has probably told their grandson at some point, and that is one man's treasure or trash is another man's treasure. That's how caution flags are on here. Sometimes they are great for somebody and they are awful for others. Jeff, I know you've been in that scenario many times where, and so has Sean probably, where one race, the checkered flag absolutely puts you in the best position ever, and then other times you're thinking, why did that just come out? It just trapped me a lap down and my night is done now.
I'll tell you, I'm convinced that the caution flag, the flag man watches my race to see what I've got going on and is just bound and determined to make sure they go against me. If I need one, he won't throw it. And if I don't need one, he does throw it. That's how every driver feels out there, except for maybe Sean. I'm telling you, he's the luckiest guy in the world when it comes to cautions. Either that or he just always has the winning strategy. I'm not sure which one it is, but he always seems to be on the right side of those things.
Yeah, me and the flag man are good friends, so he tries to pay attention. Definitely have to let go my way a lot of times. But if we look at the standings now, everybody's gotten into pit road. Scott Hutchinson just went in. Ryan Bloom and Stephen O'Hare also went in a couple laps ago. So they're working the way back. Josh Marcy has just probably retaken the lead, I think, here based coming out of the pits first.
That is correct. Joshua Marcy, your leader. But the question is, for how long? As right now you have Dennis Moore running him down. Keep in mind, excuse me, Dennis Moore actually pitted on lap 47. Joshua Marcy on lap 46. So he does have a 1 lap fresher tire, but 1 lap, I think, Jeff, you can agree with here. Tire wear is important, but 1 lap, is it really going to make that big of a difference here as that battle for the lead is underway?
It may be in the first 5 laps, but right now they're far enough down the road here that the 1 lap is not going to make much difference on these tires. It's not noticeable. Dennis Moore is on a mission tonight. So is Josh Marcy and Kevin Smith, who I'm not sure if he started in the pits or AOL. I thought he started in the pits, but he's all the way up to 3rd. If we get a caution, Kevin Smith, I believe, is going to be right in the middle of this. He's going to turn this 2-car race into a 3-car race for the win here.
Yeah, he definitely could. And, excuse me, having a little bit of a cough fit there. I did get word from our in-race driver of Rents that he said he saw a cat, and that's why he hit the wall. So I'm assuming it's one of James Vining's but that's the word we got from him as to what caused him to get into the wall there. When I assume is when he hit the wall going into the pits, would be my guess. But either way, we'll keep an eye on him as he is our in-race driver. He's currently sitting in 21st, trying to just kind of nurse at home. He does not have that fast repair anymore. And we didn't talk here as we're watching this little group of cars going on. I would assume, Jeff, with this same series, that they have the one fast repair just like the others, and that's it.
Yeah, so first of all, the Greg Rentz references to Seth Fraser's cat, I think, last year in the Cup Series during his interview, where he claimed the cat ran across the road here at Las Vegas in front of him. So I'm pretty sure that's what the reference is to. And yeah, the answer to the question is they get one spare car here. They've got one in the hauler or one fast repair, whatever you want to call it, in this series, just like the other series do.
Well, as to be expected there, and Sean, I don't know if you were watching that little battle we were watching. A little bit of a scary moment there if you're that 35 of Joshua Marcy. Him and the 11, Frank Harris, had a little bit of close encounters there, maybe a little bit of contact. I don't think, if any, it was much at all. But, that's got to be a scary thing. I know, Sean, not to knock Jeff, he's been up there as well, but Sean, you've been in the lead a lot in your career, obviously being the winningest driver in Northwest racing history right now. When you come up on a lap car, knowing that they're multiple laps down, or they're just off the pace a little bit, going their first lap down, how scary is it trying to get around these guys?
It's not too scary. I mean, a lot of these drivers are really good about making sure they just hold a line. The big part is when they're kind of questioning where you're going to go. If they just pick a line and let me pass, it's a little easier versus me having to come over to the radio. But yeah, we've had some run-ins with the leaders and lap cars, so it's still nerve-wracking no matter what happens. You never know what could happen in that instance, whether they get loose, you get loose, running at a different line. So it's always going to be a little nerve-wracking.
Definitely can get nerve-wracking. And since we do have 3 people here in the booth, I believe, unfortunately, Greg Rentz having some issues here tonight. He is off track, and never mind, as I say that, he is back underway. I was going to have a chat with him, but he is unfortunately, or fortunate for him anyway, he's back out on the track, or making his way there, so we'll refrain from pulling him on the radio and getting a word with him. But we definitely Jeff, like to talk to drivers, but it's difficult when you go caution free like this for 71 laps. We're going to make it 72 when Dennis Moore gets to the line. So as a driver, do you like to see a caution or two to kind of slow the pace down, maybe be able to get a drink, something there just to relax for a minute?
Not really. Most of the time, I don't want to see a caution. It really depends, right? If I've screwed my tires up, yeah, give me some fresh tires. Or if I've done something that's got me 20 seconds behind the leader, catch me up. But unless I've made some sort of mistake, I typically don't want to see a tire here. And just want to point out here that Dennis Moore and Josh Marcy are starting to negotiate some pretty heavy lap traffic.
Yeah, they definitely are. And speaking of Greg Rentz, I believe Sean just got him on the radio and chatted with him for a minute. Sean, what did he have to say about this race?
Oh man, that was a long run back down to pit road to talk to his crew chief there. He says he's just off sequence. He hit the wall early. He had to take his fast repair, of course, as we noted, but just keeps hitting the wall, losing a little bit of focus. I think just kind of riding time and trying to get those laps in. So gave him his crew chief a little advice. Keep it straight and finish this race.
Well, you got to keep focused here as we're on lap 73 of 134. We are past the halfway point in this race. With less than halfway to go, about 60 laps to go, and we get to the line for your leader, Dennis Moore. These guys have pitted, I believe, twice now, no, once. Nope, just one pit stop for everybody around except for a couple of guys in the way, or in the back. Not in the way, in the back. But we do have Joshua Hart coming back down now. So could this be the round of 2, or do we have some damage there on that car as well?
We definitely have some damage. It looks like a lap before, maybe 2 laps, it looks like he hit the outside wall in turn 4, I believe, maybe turn 2. But yeah, he's definitely wanting to get that repaired as quick as possible.
And interesting there, it looks like he is possibly going to be done here for the night. Whatever happened there is we were watching that and checking the timing and scoring. Whatever it was not enough to trigger a caution. It wasn't enough to trigger an incident on our timing and scoring. So obviously just pancaked the wall probably pretty hard, enough to send him to the pits. And we'll see if he does make it back out. And so far he's not going to be doing so. But a definitely shake-up. We talked about damage and keeping these cars clean. Obviously, getting into the wall, not doing that. But again, it's just an amazing how you can go from up at front to in the back just like that. So obviously, unfortunate for him, but more out front, spreading out still. We got a nice little battle going on for about midfield.
Yeah, just an update on Josh Hart here. He actually was just driving down the backstretch and kind of drifted up in the wall and hit where the safer barrier starts in the regular concrete wall and kind of ends a little bit there as far as where they put that transition, and made some pretty heavy contact to that right front. So he decided to go ahead and park it since he was going to go multiple laps down.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, especially, Sean, and you can attest to this, when you have a bad day from the get-go, and it just gets worse, it is what it is. When you have a good day, and you're in the top 5, top 3, and then it goes bad, it's just a heartbreaker for him, and for anybody that it happens to. So obviously if you're gonna have a bad day, wouldn't you just rather it be bad from the get-go and not start out good and then just go bad at the end?
I almost want to throw that up to Jeff, because it seems like we're on different sides of that a lot of times, and I start out seem a little bit calmer and going smooth, and then it sometimes will fall to the wayside, whereas it seems like some of his recent races has started off a little bad, and it's unfortunately not always gotten better.
Yeah, I have to admit, if things go wrong for me, it really is, and this is where Sean's actually helped me. It's hard to just kind of let it go, right? Quit trying to make up for it. It happened. It's time to move on. And when the adrenaline's flowing and you're out there and competing and all that, it's just kind of hard to put that into the proper perspective in your mind. And so for a lot of drivers, myself included, early problems are very hard to overcome.
Yeah, they definitely are. Judd Wakefield scrapes the wall just a little bit there. And it's one of those things, everybody says a racer, has to have a short memory, or does have a short memory, whatever. But, you may have to have a short memory, but, I've been here on iRacing, you've been here, Sean's been here. That short memory, that whole saying doesn't mean anything when you're on the racetrack. When you make a little mistake on the track, it haunts you for the rest of that race, especially in a race like this where, if it happens on, say, lap 20 of a 134 lap race, you have 114 more laps. You have to sit there and think about it. What could I have done different? And, if you can't put it out of your mind, it's going to drive you crazy for the rest of that race.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things that I'd like to, try to focus on. So when I make a mistake, I usually dwell on it for a couple laps and try to get it out of my system there. But
so to cut you off, we had the 50 of Wakefield get into the 26. of Ray Fournier. What a save for Ray. I don't, that's got to be the save of the race.
Yeah, I thought that was calamity for sure. I thought we were going to have our first caution. I thought all three of those guys were going around there. It was a heck of a save.
Yeah, it's definitely a awesome save. And Sean, back to you. Didn't mean to cut you off there, but what were you saying?
Oh, yeah, I would just, it's kind of like what you said just a minute ago about Judd getting into it a little bit there with the 26. He hit the wall just a few moments before that, and then the next calamity struck within 2 laps. So it's really about just trying to, no matter what, keeping that short memory, and just every lap's a new lap, no matter where you're at.
Yeah, it definitely is. And again, I am just impressed with how good this race has been so far. We got some battles going on. There aren't a whole lot of battles going on at the moment, but they are popping up, just kind of like the rainstorms that we had today. They weren't everywhere, but when they popped up, they were pretty good. To just use my analogy of how this race has gone. But again, how impressed am I with these guys putting it on here? We are coming up on 45 laps to go. We are 49 laps to go right now. 85 complete, caution free here at Las Vegas. And, we've seen cars get loose. We've seen cars get a little sideways. Damaged cars out there. With all that being said, to go caution free here, definitely press goes to show just how good the Northwest drivers are. Jeff, you've done a good job building the roster here.
Well, I think Sean had as much to do with that as I did, not to mention Rob and these guys down here actually running this league, James, man. They do a fantastic job making practices available for these guys, things like that. I have a question for Sean real quick, right? We're coming up on that window of about lap 90 where these guys should all start pitting again that pitted earlier around lap 45. So if you're Dennis Moore and Josh Marcy and you've got this big lead, Sean, they're out there about 19 seconds, what's your pit strategy?
My pit strategy, so I'm going to take it from Marcy's standpoint. I need to pit before Dennis. That's plain and simple. If I'm Dennis Moore, I'm waiting till Marcy pits. So I need those fresh tires because obviously I can't hold off Dennis Moore on the long run. So I'm going to hopefully try to keep him out there longer as we can go, so that way he has less time on those fresh tires to make that long run. As looks like Judd just got into the wall again.
Yeah, Judd has been having a tough time tonight. This tight car there, getting into the walls there, it's kind of been a reoccurring thing for him there. I think it just goes to show how tight these cars are getting. It looked like he just got in that corner. As soon as he started turning, that car went straight into the wall on him.
Yeah, that could be a product of kind of running the, and I don't know if they've done it to Vegas yet, but the iRacing's kind of new track model. Ooh, we had Frank Harris real quick actually get up in the wall, almost caused an incident between, it looks like, the Jimbo Pfeiffer. But things are starting to kind of, towards the end of this race, kind of start creeping up more incidents. So there's a good chance that we have a caution here to end the race here.
Yeah, that's a very good, point is, we talk about it all the time. I know me and Greg bring it up all the time, is the later you get into a race, and Jeff, I want your thoughts on this because you've been in many races. Obviously, Sean has too. That's going to be Judd Wakefield. He is out of the race. That's why our camera just decided to go to Scenic. But he is out of this race. When you get into the later laps of a race, especially right now, coming up on about 40 to go, right now at 44 to go, as we watch the number 44, at what point, if you're in the top 3, if you're Marcy, Gamble, Paulison, and you may have a fast car, but you've been conserving, and at what point do you, put it into the next gear and really try to get to the front and try to make something happen?
Well, if you're 20 seconds back going into this final fuel stop, there's not much you can do as far as if you want to win this thing without seeing a caution or something. It's going to be dang near impossible to drive back, at 20 seconds over the course of one field run. It took them 2 field runs to fall that far behind. So if I'm then, I'm just kind of trying to put myself in third place and save some tires. Save as much tires as I can and put myself in third place so I'm in a good position if a caution comes out. In the event that one of those guys has a mishap, they wear their tires down too much, put it in the wall or something late in that race, I want to have as fresh tires as I can and be in as good a position as I can to capitalize on that.
And one question here for you, since you had a question for Sean, I got a question for you, and this is just out of my own curiosity. As Rob Gamble, Dennis Moore, and Steven Paulson come down pit road, if you're, say, right now, Moore, and you're in second, Marcy's in first, and pit stops are coming down, do you ever secretly sit there and say, okay, make a mistake on pit road, I can gain some time, maybe get caught speeding on pit road? Do you ever sit there and, kind of wish, man, maybe they'll make a mistake on pit road and I can capitalize off of it?
Not only do I wish that, I tend to try to capitalize on pit road, and this is where mistakes happen. And this is where I get that speeding ticket, trying to get that extra, tenth or 2/10 on pit road, or this is where I lock up the tires and crash on the pit entry a little bit because I slid it sideways trying to get in too hot. All these things happen right now in this last pit stop, especially if you're those two guys, right? That a screw up on pit stops are going to cost you 20 seconds. And for me, like if I'm racing Sean is typically about 2 seconds faster on a total pit stop than I am. And so I'm really sweating it right now. I don't want to lose 2 seconds, right? So where can I save time? Where can I be faster? I can't lose 2 seconds to Sean. It'll take me forever to run that back down, or I might not catch him again. So it plays with your mind big time on this last pit stop.
Oh, it definitely plays with it. And real quickly, I want to zoom in on that 41 machine of Stefan O'Hare. He's got a lot of damage on the right side of the car, and still running in third. He has not pitted yet. I kind of expected him to possibly be one of our contenders, but with that damage, it's going to be very difficult, as we do have Ryan Bloom out front. And I thought it was Blum. I don't know why, but we'll go with Bloom because that sounds better. He's got a nice, clean car. And Sean, we talked about that in the pre-show, how important keeping your car clean is. Do you think, this is kind of a dumb question, but do you think these guys that have kept these cars clean thus far in this race really have the upper hand on everyone else, especially the fact that, they still have that fast repair?
Well, as you stated, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's if we're looking at times right now, Brian's actually about 1/10 to 2/10 faster, 4 seconds ahead of Stefan, who does have that damage, and it definitely plays a part. And we had actually Kevin Smith, who actually just came out of the pits. He actually turned one of the fastest lap times in the race. I think a 31:08 so far in the race. So one of the faster times. So we'll see if Kevin Smith can make that late race charge here if a caution comes out.
Yeah, times are coming in, and also a note on that: a 31:113. 113, a 31:13 for Dennis Moore. He just ran the fastest time of his race, not of the actual race, but of the of his race anyway. So, interesting enough, we saw this in the truck race on Wednesday night. Jeff, is there a key to this, to see these fastest laps of the session for these guys being run 99 laps in? Is it because there's more rubber on the track? What's causing these new faster laps for these guys to be run this late in the race?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think rubber definitely is one of those things. It'll kind of tighten the track up a little bit. So there tends to be a little bit more grip when you come out on fresh tires there later in the race. But I think the other big thing is just confidence, right? You've got 90 laps, 95 laps, 99 laps under your belt. And, you started the race on fresh tires. This is your third time on fresh tires on this track. You're pretty confident you know what this car is going to do. And you've got this track pretty dialed in now. So if you've got a clear track and you're not in traffic, this is probably the most likely time to set that fast lap.
And they are definitely doing it. And you see right there, as we watched Dennis Moore, we watched Kevin Smith, these guys with fresh tires that were in on lap 91, lap 90, 92 versus these guys. Example, Dennis Moore, he was on pit road on lap 92. Then you go all the way back to someone he passed a long time ago. I'll say a long time ago, a little while ago, of Stephen O'Hare. He was on pit road on lap 59, and we all watched how quickly he took that away. It was like taking candy from a baby. As Ray Fournier decides to come in, he's had enough. You've got to wonder, when is Stephen O'Hare going to come in to be on lap 59? He's getting eaten alive out there, so he's just got to come down soon. Those old tires are killing him on this track, Sean.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna want to come in. My strategy at this point would be to stay out as long as I can, because I'm not gonna gain anything, right? So I am gonna lose some time, but hopefully if I pit at lap, let's say 20 laps later than Dennis Moore, I'm gonna have the time here a little bit quicker at the end, and less laps on the tires at all. So. Which could help me if there is a late race caution. I could choose to take 2 or maybe even not pit.
And Jeff, we all talked about this a while ago, and you have that strategy. Barring there isn't a caution, you have the strategy of pitting later. But is there a point where you almost pit too late? Where you've lost too much time that even fresh tires can't make up? As a driver, how do you balance that of, okay, I can pit on lap 110, I'm not going to go enough down that I can still make it up? How do you find that threshold of when it's too late and when's the perfect opportunity?
If you're superstitious, you break out the good luck charm. If you're religious, you pray. Because right now, if you're Stephen O'Hare, you've crossed that line. That you're the only thing that saves him now is a caution. And so he's made his bed, he's got a lie in it, and he's out there everything he's got rooting for a caution right now. Him being the only one I think out there still on the old tires. If the caution comes out, he's sitting pretty. He gets to go in, burn that fast repair, get 4 tires, come out in 3rd place, and do a 20-lap sprint or whatever to the finish. But if the caution doesn't come out, he might not even finish on the lead lap here. He's losing 2 seconds a lap to the leader right now, and pit stop's going to cost him 40 or 50 seconds. So he's going at least a lap down if he has to pit on the green.
Yeah, and by the way, we'll talk to Greg Rentz here in just a minute. We obviously going to take a quick look at this. This was, while we were talking about this, it's an instant replay by Paul's Poppers. Again, loving the new graphic. This was just a bit ago from Greg Rentz, and not sure, there's Greg Rentz. He's already crashed at this point, so not sure exactly what happened. We're going to take another look here and see. But he just informed us that he was done for the day. The car was toasted, and we'll see exactly what happened on that Pulse Poppers replay. And nobody's around him, really. I have a feeling he just got loose here, possibly, and spun it around. And this is what you talked to him a little bit about, Jeff. Coming in here, these little bumps, and just hammers the outside wall hard.
Yeah, I'm not sure that those bumps are what got him there, but those bumps are they're hard to deal with. They're getting into turn 1, and the older your tires are, the more it upsets the car. So a lot of times, and the problem is those bumps are right there in what would be the fastest line. So in an open setup, where you have can make adjustments to your car, sometimes you can make adjustments that allow you to run over those bumps and be faster. But in something like this, if the car doesn't like the bumps, then you got to figure out if you want to risk it, or if you're going to drive around them.
Yeah, definitely a risk-reward scenario with about 26 to go. You got to let it, and you really have to decide what you're going to do. And real quickly, we're going to take spoken word with Greg Rentz. Greg, you got behind the wheel here tonight and decided to race versus be in the booth. Good news, either way, the pay is the same, but you end up here out of the race on lap, we'll say 25 to go. You hung in there, a hard lick to the outside wall. What happened there going to turn one?
Well, down in the infield, there was a lady wearing an interesting outfit, and her dog that she had for some reason had a more interesting outfit on. And the dog got loose and ran right up in front of the track, and they had to swerve to avoid him.
Well, there you have it. The dog ran onto the track. Jeff, I'm so used to saying Greg to go into the question mode, but Jeff, Sean, any questions for Greg while we have him here?
Yeah, the shoe's on the other foot now, Greg. Oh, what'd you learn out there tonight running these cars on these tracks? What can you tell us here that maybe we're not even aware of up here in the booth tonight?
So, as you all know, that's not what happened. What happened was I was out there on really old tires. I got off sequence in that first accident and I had to take tires right there and was just trying to save it or hang on to those tires till I got to lap 100, so I had enough to go to the end. But unfortunately, the right front was just gone. I was trying to get another 10 laps or so out of it, and I just had nothing left in the tires and just overpushed it. So you really got to try to babysit the right front tire especially. The thing goes from snappy loose to all of a sudden the thing wants to open its own snow removal company because it's a plow. I mean, it just starts plowing in the middle of the corner, and the longer you go, the more tight it gets as the run goes on. So it's definitely going to be interesting come Monday and Wednesday, watching everyone trying to babysit the tires. And yeah, we're going to be glad to be back in the booth where I belong.
I can tell you, Sean and I'll probably be glad to be back on the track where we belong. Thanks. Sean, you got anything for Greg?
Well, other than not keeping it straight, Greg, I talked about this. I talked to your crew chief, told him to tell you to keep it straight, and we didn't do that, but that's okay. That's a learning process. So the big question is, obviously you're looking forward to Monday. I believe we have, I think our sponsor for the Cup race is on your car tonight. So who's that sponsor that you got?
Yeah, big thank you to Brian and Jesse Fossey, Northwest Sugar, for coming on board, not just for this race, but for, again, like you said, the races on Monday and Wednesday. They're a local bakery that's owned and operated by one of my old friends from high school. Reached out to them a couple weeks ago, said, hey, this is something that I want to try to do. Can we try and do this? And they said, yeah, so we got it rolling, and glad to have them on board, not just with this, but with LSRTV in general.
And didn't you say, Greg, there before we let you go, free cookies for everyone, right?
About that. I'm the one getting the cookies.
Yeah, this is not right here, just so you know. He's getting cookies. We don't get any cookies. I don't know about you, but I like cookies. So, cookies, cake, beef jerky, bologna, cheese, pizza. It really doesn't matter. I like everything. So,
how does bologna get in the middle of that sentence?
I'm not really sure on that one, but it's good. I mean, what can I say?
I refuse to talk about cheesecake.
Well, we weren't talking about cheesecake. We were talking about cheese. But you're the one that brought up cheesecake now. But there's only 18 laps to go left in this race. Riding on board with Toby Ritters right now. I don't know if there's a car out there, as we'll switch to Dennis Moore, or maybe exception there, that doesn't have some sort of damage on it. So maybe a little bit of survival mode going on here when these cars turn into those plows like Greg was talking about. So you really got to, wonder, are we going to see a caution at all here tonight? We haven't seen one so far. But then again, Sean, Jeff, both of you can comment on this one. There has been many times we have seen long green flag runs and then a caution come out with 10 laps to go and turn the whole race upside down, as we almost saw contact right there.
Yeah, that was a close one between, looks like Dennis Moore and Toby Ritters, as Dennis is going to put Ritters down a lap here.
I'm not sure.
Somebody was on the apron.
We do
and
have
here
a
we got our caution.
So does that mean I jinxed that one? That was Stephen O'Hare bringing it around for the Pulse Poppers. Instant replay. Caution number 1 here tonight on this race. And there he is. He's spinning it around. And right there, he's good, I believe. And then he brings it back onto the track here in a moment. Or that might have done it. Just that little bit of a spin. We'll take one more look at this. And this was coming out of the pits, guys. He had just got fresh tires. And Jeff, you said it. You nailed it on the head. When you come out of the pits, you're on fresh tires. The car is a little loose. And I believe that's exactly what happened here to Stephen O'Hare.
Well, in addition to that, you're trying to get up to speed on that apron. You're trying not to lose too much time, and there's no banking on that apron, so it's real easy without that banking for that rear end to snap loose on you there. So we got the tire pressures, the loose car already, and then you're trying to get up to speed and turn that corner on that apron. I'm surprised, really, that's the first one I've done. This is a real easy track to do this at.
Yeah, that is very surprising. And I was about to ask the question, who's coming down pit road? But so far, the top 3 have come down. 4 have come down. I
think
5.
all of them.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think all of them. Sean, did you expect anyone maybe to not come down?
The only person I thought that might not come down was the one involved, and that was just because he was coming out of pit road. So, unfortunately for Stefan, he was the one involved in that caution that kind of sealed his night and actually potentially hurt his teammate a little bit here in the race. We'll see how quickly Dennis Moore fires off compared to Josh Marsley.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. As a teammate there leading this race and had a nice lead. As we'll probably come back with about 10 to go. We have not had a chance so far. We're under the first caution, so we are going to step away real quick to thank some sponsors, and we will be right back after a quick commercial break.
ETE Reman is the world's best remanufacturer of transmissions for import and domestic cars and trucks. Based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, our customers are repair shops, auto parts stores, dealerships, and distributors. And with 6 nationwide warehouses, we're where and when you need us. So when you're looking for a transmission that is like new, only better, instill confidence and install ETE Reman.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and very quickly after a little short commercial break there, just to thank some sponsors for coming on board. We are setting ourselves up for the last about 10 laps or so. Sean, we talked about it. You know, we get that caution and we have a shootout to the end after a long, and I mean utterly ridiculously long, about 120 so lap green flag run. We are about to see, well, we can see a lot of things. We could see calm, cool, and collected, or we could see all chaos break loose here in these last 10 laps of everybody trying to get to the front. What are your thoughts here? We'll let Sean, then Jeff, we'll go to you, but what are your thoughts here with this 10-lap shootout coming up?
Well, first off, it looks like we got a lot of wave rounds, so a lot of these drivers are going to get back at least one lap, if not get back on the lead lap. But cautions breed cautions, and knowing that we have a short amount of time left, people aren't going to be given an inch or maybe an inch and a half at most. But Dennis Moore feels pretty confident. I went down and ran down to the Beaver State Racing Crew to find out what happened there. And unfortunately, Stephen O'Hara's wheel actually came off his desk. So that's what caused it, not the as we originally thought, the low air pressures and just no baking to hold the car down. So Dennis obviously a little bummed at that point with such a big gap or such a big lead, but he's feeling pretty confident here coming into this last 7 laps or so, 8 laps.
Yeah, real quick before we get to Jeff here, the lights are off. We just got word we knew from Greg. He said he got off sequence again, and he couldn't get a caution, and the caution comes out. But Jeff, we'll get to you.
Yeah, real quick, a little house cleaning item before we get there. I heard back from the corporate office, and they said there is a provision if you do pick a driver that starts in the pits. So 44 or 40, Dennis Moore is officially my pick. Corporate said to tell you if you swing by the office sometime and get an updated rule book, you'll know what the rules are.
Well, unfortunately, I overpower corporate because you said I was 4 bosses. You only have 1. I'm going to rewrite the rule book when I go by corporate. I still win, Jim. But either way...
Dennis Moore is off with a great restart here, and look at Kevin Smith. Man, he's been a man on a mission all night coming through that field, and I'm so interested to see what he has for these two here, if we can get some green flag run going here for a little bit.
Yeah, we're coming up. I said 10 to go. It was actually an 11-lap shootout, but 10 this time by. It was a 35.
Oh, there goes Marcy.
Marcy going to go for a little bit of a spin in the grass. He'll go for
What
the
a
spin.
save.
Yes, that definitely was a save. And unfortunate for him, that's going to cost him a ton. But the battle for the lead is still on. They are 0.032 seconds apart. As here comes Kevin Smith trying to get to the inside. He is on the inside now. And we have a new leader. Kevin Smith, first time here tonight, leading this race. Like you said, he has shown some speed and some skill here tonight. And I definitely would look forward to talking to Kevin.
I'd hate to be in that Beaver State Racing room right now. Dennis Moore's got to be just a little bit upset at the teammate Stefan there right now. This race was in the bag for him, but somebody has turned Kevin Smith loose here.
No, and to point out, not only have they turned that 00 loose, he just ran a 13.03. He just ran the fastest lap of the entire race here on, 9 laps to go.
Yeah, they're turning very fast lap times. He actually just went even faster at a 30.85. Dennis Moore right behind him at a 30.98. So both turning in some best times of the race. Dennis, I think, was giving him a lap to let those tire pressures come up, and we'll see if he can make a charge here in the last few laps here. So.
And meanwhile, while we keep an eye on that battle, that's about 5 tenths apart, we're going to go a little further. He just ran another faster lap, 30.84. But go a little further back. Look at these guys, 2 and 3 wide back here for about 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th place going on. These guys putting on a nice little show towards the rear of the field. Another decent one up for about 7th or 8th place, but this is the best battle right now going on for the 12th position. Aaron Cooper, Dan Stuzzi, Dana Rogers back here, as that battle for the lead is really about 6 tenths apart. Kevin Smith, like you said, someone lit a fire underneath that 00 machine, and he has just checked out since he got the lead.
Yeah, Kevin Smith is fast, and he's fast in every series, the Cup Car, the Truck Series, and especially on fresh tires, man. With this few laps to go, I kind of figured that he was going to give Dennis Moore everything that he had. It would definitely be a battle there. Thought Josh Marcy, also super fast in the short run, was figured we'd have a 3-way battle here for this. But yeah, Kevin Smith, it's no surprise to me that he's doing this right now, but he's just checked out already.
Yeah, and unfortunate for Marcy, it really had a fast machine. Obviously, he ate his Kellogg's cornflakes today because he was on point, had everything going for him, and well, just got a little sideways there, and that cost him several spots and possibly the win. But this battle is starting to brew right now for 5th, 6th, and 7th. That is, of course, Toby Ritters, James Vining, and Ryan Bloom that are all right here together. You can throw a blanket over them, as that is the battle on the track right now. Is that lead, by the way, Kevin Smith? Well, he has, let's see, that gap, I believe, is about 0.94. So the gap to the lead, 1.183, has increased more, over more. So more falling backwards now here in these closing laps. Definitely, I agree with you, Jeff. I do not want to be in that Beaver State Racing camp.
No. Wow, Kevin Smith. I knew he was fast watching him come through the field, but Dennis Moore has been just super fast himself, so did not expect to see him jump out this far. I wasn't surprised that he got the lead or that he was in that mix, but man, to see him jump out like this and the lap times that he's been putting down, holy cow.
Yeah, he has been putting down some lap times, and we're going to be coming up on one to go next time by. Sean, we watched him. Did you expect him to be just jump like he did either?
Kind of. I mean, it was unfortunate he wasn't able to make the grid as he is getting ready right now to take that white flag and hopefully continue to check out on that 44. But I mean, he showed speed. We definitely could see that he could run a fast lap and all that. So for him to put these much together, or these many laps together at the rate of speed he's going, is just, it's amazing.
He does as he takes that CRN. One to go. Final lap is underway. We'll stick with the leader till he gets to the start-finish line, and he is officially going to be claimed as the winner right there. Kevin Smith going to get it as we go to the start cam here, and you can see him all rolling in here. Not a whole lot going on behind them, but what a run for Kevin Smith. We're going to see a little bit of a battle right there, and here comes another one, and they're going to sort it out. But again, a huge run for Kevin Smith in those final 10 to 12 laps.
Yeah, if you're Dennis Moore, man, that's unfortunate. So disappointing. There's a case of a guy thinking the cautions just don't work out for him. Kevin Smith, what a race, man. That guy was so ridiculously fast. It almost would have been a travesty if he didn't get a caution to get back up there. And Rob Gamble, what a race for him. Just a steady climb through the field. We didn't even talk about him much, but he just slowly worked his way through the field very methodically. Just did what he does. Great race for him, too.
Definitely a great race for him indeed. And we'll go ahead while he burns them down here real quickly. And there, well, apparently even in this one, I didn't know if we were going to get to see it or not, but we do get to see the demo derby. And wow, it was just a slight little tap to the side, and upside down he goes. Oh, but he's back on the wheels now.
Those are just high fives, Cody, Northwest style.
Northwest style high fives. Hey, I have to say, these cars, they seem to want to tip over a lot easier than the Cup cars or the trucks. Everybody out there giving high fives all around. Everywhere you look. High fives for everyone. That was like a 10-5 there. I think that was a little bigger than a high five.
High 17.
Yeah. Oh, well, what was that then? That blew his engine. That was like a high 20 or something. But either way, what a race. As we'll quickly get to the race results so we can talk to the top three. Of course, unofficial race results presented by SoftPlay.com. Your top 10 are going to be like this, and we'll be talking to these top three: Kevin Smith, Dennis Moore, Robert Gamble, Stephen Paulison, Joshua Marcy, James Vining, Toby Ritters, Ryan Bloom, Frank Harris, and Judd Wakefield going to be your top 10 here tonight. 11th through 20th going to go to Aaron Cooper, Dan Stuzzi, Dana Rogers, Jimbo Pfeiffer, George Watson, Ray Fournier, Stephen O'Hare, Greg Rentz, finishing close to the lead lap. Ricky Moser finishing in 19th, and 20th going to Joshua Hart, who had a little bit of a disappointing finish there compared to where he started. Scott Hutchinson in 21st, 22nd Troy Daggett, 23rd going to be Corey Walters, and 24th going to be Bryce Beatty. That will do it for your unofficial race results here. We'll step away just for a moment. When we come back, we'll talk to the top 3 drivers from tonight's Northwest ARCA Series race in just a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with your post-race show. And, of course, we have your top 3 drivers with us. And some technical difficulties. We're getting those sorted out. But either way, we have the top 3 with us. Coming in 3rd place, we talked to him for an extended time a little while ago. That is Robert Gamble in the number 54. Robert, you bring home 3rd place here tonight here in Las Vegas. Was there any gambling involved to get you into that 3rd place, or was it just pure hard work?
It was what an awesome race, because one caution, and I think pitting before the leaders did, but kind of after about 40 laps of that first time, and then it put me up there in the 3rd, 4th place, and then I didn't let go of that. And then just the way the green flag ran, we got tires a little earlier than them, so we were laying down faster laps, and then they just didn't have a chance to catch back up. So, but just an excellent job by everybody to keep that race clean. And there was lots of good racing out on the track, and that was a ton of fun.
Well, it definitely was 120 plus green laps before we first saw the caution come out. It was probably one of the best races I've seen in a long time, especially for the ARCA car. You definitely did a good job here tonight. And before we let you thank your sponsors, I'm sure Jeff and Sean got a question for you. We'll hand it to them.
All right.
So, when you told me your mom was watching, I used to give shout outs to my mom and post-race interviews all the time. She watches every race as well, so I know how fun it is to have family at home watching. We talked to you extensively about the series. You kind of had a quiet race, so I feel guilty that we didn't get you on the screen a little bit more for your mom to see, but there you were, kind of you ended up in 3rd. I mean, we came out on that final restart there, and And I think Josh had a little accident, and there was Rob Gamble right up there in the mix. And I don't know that you really had anything stand out other than just kind of a methodical, good, clean, steady race through the field tonight. So I guess tell us about that a little bit, the way you came through the field, and what was it we maybe should have shown your mom on TV there?
No, I mean it was a pretty quiet race. I know I started in 9th and stayed that way, stayed 7th and 8th up through the first pit stops, and then first pit stops, I was in 4th, 5th. Me and Toby Ritters, Steven Paulison, even Kevin Smith for a while. Me and Kevin had a good battle for just a big part of that race, and so during that last the last pit stop, I went in a little earlier. So again, I came out in 7th and 8th, but I knew those guys in front of me still had to pit and that I would move up there. So I just was saving tires, trying to put down just consistent laps, just wanted to be consistent on my lap times each lap, and eventually got up there. Then we got that caution, got some tires. Funny thing, and real quick, the pit road opened before I got around. So if I could have got down and got on pit road, I could have come out with the lead. And I just was a little far away to get down there. So I got to watch that next time.
All right, we'll let Sean get in with a question for you before we send you here and give you a chance to thank your sponsors and all that. So I know Sean was kind of trying to get Kevin Smith, or with Kevin Smith. Sean, are you still here? Do you have a question for Rob?
I am still here. I actually, you guys kind of answered all my questions already, or asked the questions, and Rob answered those. So we'll let him thank his sponsors and give a good shout out to Mom.
Always. So yeah, the company is on the car is a company I work for, Northern Powerline Constructors. So thank them for their sponsorship, and my teammates Stephen Paulison, James Vining, Frank Harris, Judd Wakefield. We all had a good time tonight. And then hello Mom, I know she's back on the East Coast, so it's 1:16 in the morning, and so I know she just hit up on my stream that she had a little nap, but said good job, and I know she's getting ready to go to bed. So good night, Mom. Love you.
All right. So again, congrats on third place here tonight, and Dennis Moore coming in at second place here tonight. Second place, you can't complain about it too much, but at the same time, were you hoping that this thing would go green all the way? That caution really did cost you a lot there in the end, as you were in the lead and ended up having to take second place because of it.
Yeah, I was hoping it would stay green, but Stefan had a little technical issue. His wheel came off the
Hang on,
hub,
I think we gotta try that again, Dennis. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. Hey, so yeah, I was hoping it would stay green. Obviously, I had a 5-second lead, but Stefan had a technical difficulty, and his wheel came off the hub and slammed on the brakes and came on the track. It is what it is. I mean, one of these races, I'll put it together. A couple weeks ago at Homestead in the Cup car, my picker didn't fill up the gas, so I was doing well in that one. But it's tough to win in this series. You guys are all really good.
Before we hand it over to Jeff and then Sean, or vice versa, however they want to handle it, but my last question for you here is, speaking of the wheel coming off, you're running 134 laps here. This may be a sim, but how grueling is it? Just like being a real car, you're sitting there having to use brake, gas, turn, turning left, sometimes turning right too, in these cars, getting nasty and sweaty in there, and wheels coming off, technical issues that you might see in a real race car, like a wheel breaking or coming loose. How do the two compare to real, if you've been in a real car, versus the sim here, and just how intense is it actually out there?
Well, I've never been in a real car, but to stay consistent, the first 5-10 laps, you're not using any brake at all. hardly letting off to stay consistent with your let off points and hitting back into gas, easy instead of slamming on it. That's the toughest part for me, is staying consistent to save tires. And then later in the run you're using brakes, so you're changing your style of driving throughout the entire run.
Definitely are indeed a good run for you. And we started with Jeff last time, so Sean, we'll toss it to you here to talk to Mr. Moore.
Yeah, Dennis, you led 69 laps, so obviously leading the most laps tonight. You had some great battles with Josh Hart and Josh Marcy. When you got through that first battle there with those guys, did you think you were the one to beat there, no matter what? If it stayed a long green flag run there?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as I hit my marks, I thought I saved my tires the best. I was just riding behind them the first, 20 laps or so. Then I finally passed them. And then the second thing I was worried about was road entry. I don't know if you guys saw my last pit road entry, but I almost blew the entire race right there. I was sideways coming into the pit road. But yeah, I thought I was the fastest car tonight. But I knew Kevin was fast on short runs. I was in the practice last night, and he was running fast laps the first 10 laps, and I'm more of a long run style of guy.
Yeah, and obviously I'd say I'm similar to you. I'm kind of a long run guy. Knowing that you had, I think Kevin actually started right behind you on that last restart. Knowing that he was behind you, how concerned were you that he was going to be able to make the pass, or did you think you at least could have held him off for a couple laps before he made that?
Yeah, I thought I would get a better jump on the restart. I tried starting in first gear. I think I probably should have started in second, but as soon as he got to me, I knew he was going to pass me because, like I said, he's super fast on the short runs.
Well, we appreciate it again. Great run. Again, leading the most laps. Just give a shout out to your sponsors here before we let you go.
All right, I got to thank Beaver State Racing, Tyler, Stefan, and Paul. All those guys are super helpful with every different series. And then Nicole Bryan Photography is on the car. That's all I got. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dennis. We'll hand it over here to Jeff to start our interview of the race winner, Kevin Smith.
Hey, Kevin. Not sure if you can hear me. I think Sean's trying to type as I talk, so I want to make this as long-winded as possible, just to mess with him. First of all, congratulations on a fantastic race tonight. We saw you start on the pole, and then, or you qualified on the pole, but then you didn't start on the pole. You started in the back. We weren't sure if you started from the pits or the back. It was kind of a surprise to us, actually, that you weren't up front there. But then we watched you just kind of come through the field, and it wasn't slow. It was fast. So we knew that when you got to the front, you were going to be the car to beat if you got to the front. So for me, I've kind of got just a little two-part question. Tell me about that first lap and the qualify. What happened to make you start in the back? And then my next question is once that caution came out, how confident were you that you were the car to beat?
Now we hope John's typing skills are fast.
The message is sent. Kevin is so he's actually typing back. Kevin, can you try keying up? So it looks like his mic isn't working either, but he missed the start due to a shift issue. Basically couldn't shift into first gear. Couldn't shift into first gear on the grid, and so he started 22nd. Lost force feedback, and apparently now he can't hear anything from us, but he can type. Was hoping that he could talk for himself here, but
hey, if y'all want, I can break out the braille.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
We got you.
Oh, although he can't hear us, so
I'm replying.
Yes. Maybe we should just go with an easy.
I had that shifter issue on the grid. Car went shift into first, so it gave me a missed shift. Started from the pits, and really, just patience. I knew I had a fast car, or fast ARCA car, and just need to work myself through it. Just patience. I wouldn't have got there without a caution. Obviously, the lead was just too much going green. But just got to third there. The two guys were out front, but just the caution there helped me big time, as we're all aware.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Super excited. That was my only chance to get a chance to race with those guys. I knew just keeping a track of lap times. I had to use my stuff up a little bit earlier in run to kind of make way. So toward the end of the run, Dennis was right. I would kind of fall off a little bit because I'd use my stuff up, but I knew if I got a short run, I could run with those guys.
All right. Well, congratulations once again. We'll try it this time, and we'll send it over to Cody. I think he's typed a question already.
So I'd like to Thunder Road, my race team. I'd like to thank Tom Denchel Ford, Tom Denchel Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, the Tom Denchel Auto Group, West Coast Goalkeeping, and Jegs for all their support for all the years in my racing, and LSRTV.
This interview is going about like the start of his race. I don't know if you can hear us, man, but congratulations. Great race. We'll send it back to Cody here to wrap this thing up.
Okay, I got to compose myself for a minute. I'm sorry. But what a race indeed. We put him down in the production booth. Unfortunately, he can't hear us. We can hear him, so we're typing questions, and then the answers are coming in while we're trying to talk to. Definitely an interesting way to interview. Hopefully, we'll get that mic working. We'll maybe talk to him the next time we get to the race, or potentially in the Trucker Cup Series, just to formally get to talk to him. But again, an amazing race from Mike's perspective. Obviously, we don't get to cover all these, especially not the next three, unfortunately. But we'll see when we get to come back and cover the next one. But final thoughts. We'll start with Sean, go to Jeff, and then we will probably go to bed.
First final thought would be, what a race. I mean, we had, 120 some laps of green flag racing, multiple leaders, great side-by-side racing for some of it, a dominant performance by Dennis Moore, only to get nipped by Kevin Smith there after the yellow came out late. So overall, great race. Big congrats to Kevin Smith, Dennis Moore, and Rob Gamble for the top three there.
Yeah, I've got a similar thought. First of all, again, what a great race. I don't know what was more amazing tonight is the fact that we went 120 laps out of wreck, or the fact that Cody didn't throw Sean and I out of the booth for not knowing what we're doing. Both of them, I thought, were impressive feats that Cody let us stay, and just that race, we talked about how hard that car was going to be to drive, how it was going to change. You heard him in the post-race interviews talking about how that car changed over a run. And so with all that going on, we still had that much caution-free racing. So we called it a development series, but these guys are good drivers already.
Definitely are, and little do they know, folks, that I let them stay in here because I'm getting hazard pay for this. That being said, we want to tell everyone, hopefully you had a great race here tonight. I know I did, Jeff did, Sean did, and congrats to the top three here, Kevin, Dennis, and Robert. Hopefully we'll get to be back here very soon doing another one of these ARCA races. Until then, we hope everybody has a great weekend. I know tomorrow's Saturday, so you get your whole weekend. We are off till Sunday for the Adrenaline iRacing League as we pick them back up for their last 10 races of the season. And we'll see you there. And again, stay safe, and we'll see you Sunday.